Go
press
ahead.
this. Right. I
No, what you
am
gotta do.
I'm good otherwise, so if you wanna just continue on just a little bit without me, go right ahead. I will be right back. Also see when my food is apparently supposed to be getting here.
Hmm. What? Let's get a recap. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, what exactly happened?
Yeah.
Let's
So
see.
all four of you were for different reasons and separately traveling to the island of Monmon on a chartered ship along with several other individuals when it ran into issues at sea and the power crystal cracked and gave out. Fortunately, there was a signature coming from a small nearby island with a ruin on it that seemed to match like it would be a viable replacement power source. So they asked if there were any folks on board who were adventurers that would be willing to, lend a hand, sort of go in there, see if they could recover a suitable replacement power source. You would be entitled to anything that you found while exploring the ruin. You could keep anything there, obviously, and then they were also going to give you a little bit of a monetary reward as well upon arriving at the island. Uh, and the four of you were the only volunteers. So you sort of exchanged some pleasantries outside a little bit, and then went into the ruins together. Uh, had to deal with some traps, a few ambushing robots, found a little bit of equipment, and managed to take down a rather large robot with substantially more ease than I expected. And reco- and recovered a replacement power crystal for the ship. And then that was where we left off. So basically, there was going to be some downtime for traveling from that small island to just the rest of the way to Monmon, which was probably only about another day away or so at that point. So you guys had the opportunity if you wanted to do like some crafting or socializing or what have you. And then more or less when he gets back, we'll be, I think, probably about ready to land on the island. But I would need to know, I guess, a little bit of what you guys each did during the downtime and how are we working this party thing? Like, what is the angle that we're taking or the choice that we're making that is bringing you guys together? Who is anybody initiating that or what have you, or is this kind of just going to happen by circumstance? Because that was our session zero where you all were thrown together by fate, but we do now. I would like to source with you guys rather than me just saying, "Oh, you all feel like such good friends already," or what have you.
You're all
Like, what
mysteriously
what
compelled
what
to hang
what are
out.
your reasons for sticking together? Presumably on the ship, getting some time to rest and go through the stuff that you found in the ruins. You guys get to talking a little bit. So let's have once Ebert gets back, let's have a little bit of that conversation. Let's figure out how you guys get to know each other and how you decide to travel together. And then once we do that, I think we can land and kick off the adventure proper.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back.
All right, I need you to roll me 4d6, 3d100, and make 2 strength checks. Oh, okay.
Dang. He got us. Nice.
Damn it, he figured out my ruse.
I think strength check gave it away. That's might, buddy. Let's see. Basic catch up on what you missed a bit. Literally like nothing, just a recap of last session, and then we were act what we did during downtime, and if we want to
Basically, like let's
diegetically
have a bit of a
introduce the reason for us
conversation
hanging
of
out.
after you guys cleared out the ruins and while you're hanging out on the ship and divvying up the loot and what have you, like what sort of conversation happens? What do you guys talk about? What convinces you to travel together? Like I want to have a little bit of that before we get to the island. That's the main thing.
Okay, where are we now? Are we on the boat? Is this
Yeah,
conversation happening?
you're on a boat out in the, if we make things more appropriate size, you're probably on a boat somewhere like here-ish.
Okay.
And then it'll be roughly another day's, or actually no, sorry, it would be because you were coming from the north, so it would be like here-ish. And you're roughly a day's travel away from when you'll land.
Sorry, was there a specific reason for that question, or did you just want to know?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to know.
Okay, cool. Let's see. I mean, with all that's happened in mine, I mean, there was the aforementioned. Uh, I guess I'll give an elevator pitch to request the recruitment of the party. But basically, after we get back, what is my name? I forgot my own name. Give me a second.
Uh, was it like Darien? Yeah.
Darian. Yeah, Darian will, if we've split off individually, track everyone down, or maybe just on the way back to the ship, bring it up. But uh, it effectively tells everyone that he has like a big deal question to ask them when they get back. Uh, and then, assuming we find some point to reconvene, we'll we'll ask the party just as a whole if any of you have any like big plans for what you're doing. Like,
Fuck
And
bitches, get money. Got it.
Mamba just wants to travel to all the planets and kill the biggest monster he can find.
we've got one more party member.
Yes, Emil responds that he wants to get back to the city of Brass for a bit before going on another adventure.
All right. I can work with that. Okay. Stands and will very dramatically puff his chest up and ask, all of you seem like quite the adventuring type. What if I told you that my objective is to create kind of the biggest adventure, so to speak?
Life.
That is to say, I'm from kind of all over the place. I've been through a lot of the different islands over the course of my life, and they all have their own charms. But none of them are as charming as just the people themselves, I feel. And in that regard, people are pretty separated from what I've seen. People on Monmon tend to keep to their own things. People on the tower rarely leave the tower. You get the idea. So my objective is to create kind of a moving adventurers guild island to bring people together. It would be a little hard to do that without an adventuring party to start a guild, though. And my last one kind of fell through. So I was wondering if maybe if you guys didn't have too much going on.
Emil look intrigued and go, maybe.
Beams like a like nearly painfully bright smile at even the slightest implication of a yes, despite it being not solid.
All right, that's a solid maybe from one person and resounding silence from the others.
Mhm. uh, to
I
bring into it obviously seems like Duck's character Emil already has a like specific objective location to go to, but with the silent Darian will then move quickly to what's
Gimli
the
will just
name?
reply, I would probably require more information on what you're planning to do before I can give an answer.
Sure. I mean, he says straight up. I mean, that's fair. I am not the smartest person, so I'm not sure there are that many details to offer you. Uh, I was previously traveling with a different group of companions when I initiated this objective, which was to make effectively a new moving island that incorporates all of the best aspects and most homely parts of the different islands, so that anyone and everyone who feels the need to join the guild can live there comfortably. With regard to that, would need a lot of individuals with different experiences, capabilities. Someone with your magical know-how might be particularly useful, because I don't really have a great understanding of the different magics and technologies of the world. And of course, as an adventuring guild, it would be the standard objectives of earn money, research, help people primarily. Uh, you know,
And I will say there are, there are in-universe precedents for the kind of thing he's trying to do already. Like the City of Brass is a flying island. The Gold Saucer is essentially a small island-sized party cruise ship. And there are the townships that are more or less like mid-sized towns or villages that are fully shipboard and sail around the seas. So, the precedent does exist. Like it is definitely, you would all know this is an achievable thing that he is trying to do. It just would take a lot of work and a lot of resources.
effort, resources, planning capabilities.
Also,
And of
my
course,
cat
I
is
mean,
being dumb. I need to step away for a minute.
Okay.
all good.
Um,
And of course, there's a billion different cogs to a machine. Not like I lock anyone here into any particular roles.
I will say Gimli will be thinking hard about it, and will just say, "Listen, I'm not from." And he kind of just like gestures like around him and just like from here. But from what I understand, what you're trying to do is not only going to take a lot of time, resources, and money, uh, it's also going to be massive, bigger than anything that
He,
already exists.
yes. Despite this sounding like to a normal person discouragement, he's smiling brightly, excitedly beaming, and nodding that it is in fact going to be a massive project.
It may not end up being bigger than the City of Brass, like just for your own scaling there, Ebic, but because like that one is truly
Yeah,
like
he does
like
not have a
the
defined
City of Brass, like
restriction
if
or
you look
set
on the
size.
map, it's probably about the same size as one of the two linked islands at 3 and 2. And
I'm assuming
this
City
like
of
what
Brass is
what Core
7,
wants
yeah.
to build would probably be not quite that big.
Mhm. I will also, as a clarifying factor, it's not he does not have a like end objective in mind. His objective is the journey. That is to say, even once the island was built, there would not be a we're done now in his mind. He would
His friends are the
ideally spend the
objective
rest of his
along the
life
way.
expanding and
Wait,
improving it.
Well and truly the shonen protagonist.
shonen harem protagonist.
Not by choice. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
It's
like it still was your explicit backstory motivation
accurate.
though, so
Yeah, no, he's trying to make it just shown, and the harem part is being removed. We're working on it.
I have a whole method for how I'm gonna do stuff behind the scenes, and I'm looking forward to when
Yeah.
eventually some of that stuff comes up.
Mhm. He says, I mean, I don't need any answers immediately. I just wanted to make my intentions obvious and immediately apparent. Since we're going to be on the ship together, it seems like we're the only people capable of fighting. And I have a bit of a bad luck streak when it comes to running or to staying away from problems. I'm not going to force, I can't, pressure any of you into anything, but I would appreciate if you all considered it while we, for the moment being, continue to stick together.
Okay, Mamba is feeling kind of grateful that Damien kind of protected him from damage in the dungeon before. So he is willing to lend you a hand.
All right. So you've got your first recruit then.
Yeah. Darian will beam a happy smile and say, and of course there will be plenty of monsters for you to fight. Don't even worry about it, Mamba. We're going to find the biggest things for you to take down. How else are we going to get notoriety as a guild?
Oh, and Mamba's mouth starts watering.
Turns out the first perk Kaz intends to take is the one where you can butcher and eat the monsters that you kill. He's been in it for the food the whole time, is what we're gonna find out.
There is a butchering skill like that. I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's literally, yeah. It's
Like
just
now that's what I'm expecting. It's like, all right.
It's
So
almost
you picked up at least one recruit.
Cool. Jared says, "Well, you know where to find me. I'm not a quiet person, so if y'all need to talk to me about it more, I guess I'll see you around the ship."
I'll see you around. Emil moves to the forward bow and starts looking at his compass.
All right. So then it'll be, like I said, about 1 day for the rest of the trip. Are you guys gonna do anything else?
I am taking the train companion downtime activity,
Okay.
which is to say, in a very shonen in a very harem protagonist manner, Darian spends a good portion of the trip shirtless on deck, sparring with his giant lion.
True.
Angelic countenance in effect, drawing a non-small amount of attention, as more so than sweat, he seems to straight up glisten. You get the idea.
Gimli's gonna take
but
the
yeah,
day
for the
to
most
just.
part, it is. Yeah.
Gimli's just gonna take the day to try and understand how this hand cannon works.
Yeah. Go ahead and sorry, I wanna double check your sheet. I would say this counts as tinkering, especially since your history is an old tech junker. So actually I would say that's a double add-in. So give me an insight with I think a major bonus is what it's called, right?
Yeah, +4.
Yeah. But give me an insight check with a major bonus.
What am I adding?
The
That is
DC.
enough. Because it would be you're adding 4, so basically you needed to get a 14 or lower. So, all right. You are able to figure out how it works, and you are able to effect repairs on it so that it will be a functional item in the future. And that will consume one of your units of the salvage to make those repairs.
Okay.
It's a question. How is the ship running? Is it on like an autopilot?
No, there's a captain who's driving it. He was the one who asked you to. Well, actually, hold on. Let me odd even. Okay, she was the one who asked you to who asked for volunteers to go in and explore the dungeon.
Gotcha.
Did you? She is like this is a relatively small ship, so she's like it's not like heavily sealed off and doesn't have like a contingent of guards or anything. Hence why she was like, hopefully we've got some adventurers. So like if you need to go talk to her or anything, you can pretty easily do so, especially considering you just lent a hand.
Yeah. Like, Emil spent some time in like the captain's quarters with her, just to act as a sort of pseudo navigator.
Okay. Let me that counts as okay, so let's do okay, then not applicable. All right, so if you have any crafting you want to do, you're able to do that. Otherwise, you could use this time with the captain to either research your next adventure or to socialize, to attempt to socialize with the captain or with someone else in the party.
I'll research the next adventure.
Okay. So it requires a location with a source of specialist information. So I would say the captain has, at least a decent amount of knowledge of the island, considering this is one of the routes that she regularly travels people along. So, all right, first ask a question about an object, individual, or place. Next, your GM will tell you what your research reveals in the form of an adventure hook. Okay, so we'll maybe play that part a little bit loose. But basically, like I'll let you ask her a couple of questions, and then I will figure out whether or not those are things that she can answer, or to what extent she can answer to try and help you prepare a little bit.
Where did we decide to go again? I've kind of forgotten.
Monmon.
So going to Monmon.
Yeah.
What kind of environments are in Monmon?
Largely speaking, it's got 4 biomes. The place that we're gonna be landing is a small port that doesn't even really have a town attached to it or anything like that. That is on the grasslands. And
Okay.
then there's a big city to the west, there's a forest to the east, and there's like a floodplain kind of marshy area to the south.
Even meanwhile, let's say scribbling in his grimoire. What kind of creatures might we find in Monmon? What kind of things would get in the way of adventure, specifically?
That is honestly kind of a hard question to answer because it's a weird place and it kind of depends on where you go. Each of the different environments has their own type of occupant or types of creature that commonly live there, and each of them uh, can vary pretty substantially. But also, like, one of the big things the island was originally designed around was people being able to sort of like capture and, either like befriend or subjugate the creatures around the island. So it's in many ways you could say it's less them getting in your way and more becoming available to you.
Because it was the island of friendship and has an obvious basis.
Essentially, yes.
All right.
Yeah, island of companionship. Anything else?
What is their method of capturing these creatures?
Okay, I guess, are you meaning like...
You said there was a way of subduing it. Do you know what that
Yeah,
method is?
yeah, I guess I'm trying to figure out how to ask my question, because there's two different things that question could mean, but you don't really have a way to know that, and I'm trying to find a way to articulate that.
All right.
Do you mean like how do you like manage and like take care of one after you capture it, or like the actual method of like saying this is my monster now?
The second one.
Okay. Um, that kind of depends on the monster and the circumstances. You like combat is probably the most common way, like having your monster fight another monster and then defeating it in combat. Oftentimes you'll be able to get it to then serve you after that, but some of them that are intelligent you might be able to like talk with and make a deal, or if you go to the city there might be ones that you can purchase, something like that. So it kind of depends, but combat between mons is probably the most common method.
Will we provided a monster when we got there?
If it's your first time visiting, which I imagine it is based on these questions, yes. There's a semi-random selection process for first-time visitors.
Is it a selection of 3?
Uh, yes and no. You'll understand once you get there. I won't if you're a first-time visitor, I'm not going to spoil the surprise too much.
Okay.
Anything else? Did I answer everything that
How
you
is-
asked, or did I miss anything?
No, you've answered everything so far. What kind of treasure might find there?
That I'll be honest, I couldn't really tell you. That's not really my area of expertise.
And is there a other than
I don't think
the
it's
creature
much of
battling?
a.
Is
I
there
don't
anything else
think
around
it's
this with
much
the episode?
known for having a lot of treasure. It's more known for having for your ability to very easily get permanent companions that you can take with you out throughout the islands. That's one of the reasons that a lot of newer adventurers tend to come here, is because having an easy way to get a powerful companion is rather helpful on one's journey.
Of course. Oh. Would the companions have to stay on Monmon, or would we be able to take them with us?
I believe you can take them with you. I've never actually like gotten one or done any of that stuff myself, so I don't know for sure, but I believe that like I've definitely had folks that I've given rides to off of the island that brought critters from here with them, so I think you can. I believe you can, yeah.
Okay, I think that's everything.
All right. Well, happy to have answered some questions, and thank you again for your help with getting us back underway.
No problem.
All right. And then Kaz, anything that you want to do during downtime?
I think I was gonna craft heavy armor.
That was part of what Ebik was going to be doing with his crafting stuff, I think. Or do you get crafting as a warrior? I forget.
Nope, not innately. I believe their crafting ability is the food one that was aforementioned.
Yeah, that you have to level up. Yeah, I think Ebik was gonna be doing the tinkering for that stuff. Which actually, now that I think about it, I should probably only have you fix up one item per downtime. So in the meantime, since you fixed the hand cannon first, probably we'll need to wait for both of you guys to have your heavy armor. I think makes sense. So then, like the next time that you all rest, he can tinker on one set of armor and then another one after that. I don't think it's really gonna matter for immediate future, so don't worry about changing anything. But for right now, you just let's say you probably don't have the armor yet, but he has been like, yeah, I can do that for you.
Okay.
So in that case, is there anything else that you would like to do? And you're also not obligated to, like, it's right at the beginning of the game and you guys are just on a ship. I know that you don't necessarily have a lot of things you can do quite yet, unfortunately.
Just gonna go to the bow, the front of the ship, and then stare off into the distance, leaning on my sword, my giant sword.
All right. So yeah, so while Darian is out training with his tiger on the deck, his new companion stands there stoically gazing into the distance, pondering
Yeah.
all of the creatures that he can't wait to savagely defeat.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So then the next day, everybody wakes up at, probably roughly similar times, we'll say. And you, by some sort of happy coincidence, end up breaking your fast at roughly the same time. And uh you know, I'm assuming that at this point, now that they are guildmates, Darian and Mamba were probably already eating together. And you guys would see likely arriving separately, Emil and Gembly, coming into the cafeteria. I
Emil
say
and Darian.
cafeteria. It's more of just like, this is the room that we eat in.
Yeah. Darian waves emphatically as he is wont to do.
Gimli will just acknowledge him.
Emil sits near. Not fully paying attention, but still sitting near.
Mhm. Has Darian been to
And then-
Monmon? According to backstory, no, but he does have a companion already. So
So your like soul companion thing works differently from other types of companions. Like the ones that you'll get here will function more or less like acquiring a companion through normal game rules. So like there's a rule of like only having two companions. Your soul companion thing explicitly
it doesn't
says
count
and it
against that.
ignores that rule.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah, I'm contemplating whether Darian would even want a companion when he already has his, you know.
well, you'll be getting one regardless.
Mhm.
Alright, well, it'll be a couple of hours probably before you reach the island. It'll be roughly the middle of the day when you guys will be making landfall. We are we going to successfully form a group before we make landfall? I would like to know. You don't necessarily have to, but I was admittedly kind of assuming that.
Yeah, I
You've
guess.
already joined him. It's the other two that I'm asking about.
Okay. Well,
The
I
thing
have
with
to
Gambly is
introduce myself.
the thing with Gambly is that he has these ideas, but he currently has no way to do or implement them. That's why he's kind of skeptical of wanting to join whatever this thing is he's planning on doing. He's interested. It's just that he doesn't see it going anywhere anytime soon.
Do you does Darian have any sort of a retort or an idea or anything in
I mean, well,
regard.
not really. I mean, Darian
It's gonna
establishes
take more
that
than
he's.
it's gonna take more than just 4 of us to do what he's planning on doing.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, he established that, like, what is it? I mean, he did establish that there needs to be an initial, like, starting group. Like, irrelevant of how many people it does require, you can't start having a bunch of people without having a couple.
Well, this is the Isle of Companionship, so if we're going to get more recruits, it's probably going to be around here.
He will offer you. Gimli will think for a bit, for maybe a little bit before we get to the island. He'll offer Darian a deal that when this island he's planning on doing. Does he plan on actually? He has a question first. Is he planning on making like a flying island or just like an island in general?
Fine.
Uh,
The idea is that ideally it will be a moving village slash city slash adventurers guild.
he thinks about it for a second. You can see like he it looks like he's having like several ideas at once, and he says, "Okay, if I can figure out how these flying islands work, because honestly, I don't know how they work. I'll help you make this island that you're planning on doing.
Oh, well,
But
that's pretty easily solved. I mean, we need to head to the city of Brass anyway, since what is it?
but I can't guarantee
know.
that once this island is complete, that I will be sticking around."
Darian says that's okay. I can't force you. Anyway, he says, I mean, Emil wanted to go to the city of Brass anyway, so that was the plan next. So I guess we could ask around there if you do decide to stick around anyway.
Well, first we'll have to find out its current location and then also map out where it's going to be.
Details. See, this is why I think you'd be a good recruit. I'm not good at that kind of thing.
Exactly. You're already proving your worth.
Yeah.
You say
Darian
that
pulls out
details
a.
like that's not an important thing.
No, details are incredibly important. I just suck at them. He pulls out a notebook that is full of just a lot of like sprawled writing and not a particularly coherent way. Though the art in it's decent. And he proceeds to start writing a checklist of things that need to be done next. Starting with figure out where the city of Brass is.
I like this. This also gives me some idea of like what your guys' sort of short, mid, and long-term goals are for me to base some campaign around stuff. So there's stuff around. So this is good. This is helpful. All right.
Obviously, elsewhere in the checkbook is the established make a big floating city, which is a bit of a broad checkpoint. And there's also a very scratched out avoid them.
For anyone who happens to be looking over his shoulder as he opens it up.
I mean, I imagine this is happening over breakfast, so he's writing on the table plainly, but yeah.
Oh, sure. I guess
Yeah,
for
but-
anyone who steals a glance, I should say.
Emil would be curious in hearing.
Would Darian notice that other people are looking at all? And if he did, would he care?
With 6 insight, do you want to take a guess of whether he'd notice?
I mean, we can roll for it if you want to, but I'm asking, would
No,
you even
no.
want
I think
to?
I do not think Darian intends. I do not think Darian cares to prevent people from doing so, nor would mind if they did.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. Okay,
Yeah.
then as described is what you would see.
Yeah. I mean, it's as far as all appearances go, it's effectively just a very broadly scoping bucket list, effectively.
A lot of the checkpoints on it are there's a handful that are checked in no particular order, and none of them seem particularly connected to any others.
It's like the is it Always Sunny in Philadelphia that has the guy with the crazy board with all the strings screaming about Pepe Sylvia, I think is the name. I've
Yeah,
not watched the show, I just know the bit secondhand.
yeah. High on the list is cork board and red string, which was checked off and then scratched out and then rewritten as a second point after the previous failure.
Perfect. All right. So then, around the middle of the day, y'all pull into port on the north side of Monmon. And as was described to Emil, the island itself is broadly divided into 4 zones, and the place that y'all are docking at is a relatively small little port. It's not really like a full-sized village. It seems more of like a welcoming center kind of thing. It's big enough for a few people to live in, but not like a full-blown settlement. And there are some folks down at the docks who are essentially saying, anyone who this is your first time on the island, line up over here and come with us, and we'll get you all registered and set up at the intake center, essentially. So,
I guess
uh,
that's us.
So, presuming that you guys will that you follow them to the intake center, they will greet you and they will send you a file that you're able to sort of just open up and read on your kind of like interface, as it were. That I will make visible to all players. That summarizes a lot of the rules for the island. And I will just go ahead and go through those real quick because that's important and it's good for everyone to have a good understanding. You guys can ask questions. While you are on this island, any companions that you gain here are able to act as though they were a PC during combat encounters. So essentially, you will fully control them. They have an action, they have a movement. You don't have to make checks or anything like that. They're treated as though they are fully trained or tamed as long as they are your Mon. There are 4 different types of companion Mons that are encountable on the island, and each one has a different method of gaining strength. There are fusables, there are evolvables, there are moddables, and there are growables. So fusables are at their base level individual creatures that can be combined together to essentially output something new. And then at higher levels, if you fuse things that are themselves constituted of other stuff, each one will contribute one of their materials to the fusion. So it doesn't become like a 4 creature fusion monstrosity kind of thing. Evolvables, when they reach a certain level of power, when they've gained enough XP essentially, uh, or like reached a certain level or met a particular other qualification, depending on which specific one it is, they will fully change into a new, typically more powerful form. Most of them will be able to do that like once or twice. There may be some rare examples that will have um moddables are machine-based creatures, so they are instead of being a living creature, typically, they are machines that you can tinker with and sort of add and swap out gear and upgrade them to give them new capabilities. The primary limiting factors on them are, being able to supply suitable new parts or equipment or what have you, and also, like monetarily being able to acquire that sort of stuff. And that they do require you to actually, be able to perform that kind of maintenance and do that kind of work on them typically, or, get someone to help you out with it. So, like, because there are a couple of tinkerers in the party, you would probably have to ask them for help, but like if Kaz wanted to get a moddable, Mon, he could ask Ebik for help during downtime or something like that. And then growables they just gain strength incrementally and will slowly change shape over time, but not make big dramatic jumps like the evolvables do. They'll get like just an incremental bit more powerful with each level, and maybe their form will change a little bit, but they're not going to like suddenly get a new stat spread and abilities and things like that. They're the more, just over time they get better. So those are the four different advancement methods, and your mons cannot grow stronger than you. So all of you guys are level 1 for right now. The mons that you will be getting for free are level 0 mons, and they will be able to go up to level 1, and you will be able to capture mons of up to level 1 for now. As you grow in strength, you'll, be able to have your mons grow or capture or otherwise acquire more powerful. So you are expected to keep at least one mon with you while you are on the island, and you are not allowed to basically you are not allowed to fight monsters yourself unless they attack you or someone in your party first. So you are expected to first engage using your mons unless there is some sort of like actual threat to you. If you're dealing with other groups of people, like other players, other travelers, you can do whatever you want with them, whether that's like, hey, let's have our monsters fight, or hey, let's just us fight. You can do that, but they don't want someone like Mamba to go out into the forest and just start, cutting the local rat population in half, and then little Billy can't go out and catch a rat to start his journey. You know what I mean? Um,
If it's a big rat, like
and if it's a big rat and it attacks you first, it's fine. But it has to
okay,
attack you first.
I'm just going to run up to every single one of them and just start trying to goad them to attack him.
I mean, technically you could. So this is one of those like system enforced things. So it is like you are not able to throw a punch until they hit you first. But that also means there's not someone like following you around taking notes or anything. Like, yeah, you can go and like piss on a bear to get it to attack you if you want to do that. Like that would fulfill the criteria. It's just, you need to do something that makes it attack you first. Um,
okay,
I would probably recommend not actively taunting the wildlife for the sake of being allowed to kill them. You would probably not have a good reputation if you do that. But like you are definitely allowed to defend yourself, and like if you get involved in fights once in a while, like that's expected, like that'll happen. Just just maybe don't become known as the guy who pisses monsters off so he's allowed to kill them. That would probably not go over well.
the guy who pisses monsters off, literally.
Um, so while you are on the island, you are allowed to have two companion mons with you. If you have two and you catch another one, then you either have to, send one of them to storage essentially, or if you have fusible mons and you just caught another one, then you can try and fuse them right away. Um, when you leave the island,
Out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, you first.
Okay. I was just gonna say, so when you leave the island, you will be able to bring one mon with you if you want. You are not obligated to. And it will count as one of your two, by game mechanic allowed companions. And if you have multiple, then you can swap them out. You can access your storage during downtime and say, "Hey, I want to bring this one with me now," or what have you.
Yeah,
And
I want to
then
email Professor Rogue.
yeah, exactly. Well, so everyone will get essentially like it's basically like a fancy smartwatch. that allows you to both register mons as yours once you fulfill, some method of capturing them or otherwise getting them to agree to be your monster, and allow you to like access your storage and check their stats and things like that. So that'll be part of your onboarding when you get your first mon. You will also get that sort of smartwatch that lets you control that stuff. So you'll be able to manage it yourself. You don't need to call Professor Oak. And then yeah, as mentioned before, when Emil was talking to the captain, fighting monsters with your monsters is the most common way to get one to be like, okay, I'll follow you now, but there are other ways to do it. Like you might go to the city and like buy one. You might trade somebody else. You might find one that's moderately intelligent and you're able to negotiate with. Like it's up to you. The all like none of the monsters are people, I guess I'll say. Like for lack of a better word, like they are things that are created by, the game for this purpose. They are not things that were like the NPCs that were in the game that were imbued with life, these were not. So you don't have like any real moral issues to worry about in that regard. Like we're not committing slavery and we're not actually, like extincting any species or anything like that. So
So
just to get that important note out of the way. Like even if something is smart enough to, negotiate with or like agree to work for you or what have you, is still essentially a game object, for lack of a better word.
so long as it doesn't ask for 20,000 marker and 47 life gems and then runs away, I think we'll be good.
I can't promise that won't happen.
No.
Does that all make sense? Does anybody have any questions or things that I should be adding to this or haven't thought about?
I do have two
Would it
questions.
be possible to fuse my soul companion? That is to say, I would hate to I would hate to leave the island and not take a companion, but I would also equally hate to have more than two bodies on the battlefield. Generally speaking, I don't think I would have any issue manipulating it. I just don't feel good
we
about
could
doing
do
so.
that. I think I would be willing to consider your soul companion as a fusible mon if that is what you want to do. It would count, though it would no longer be quote unquote free, though. It would count as one of your actual companions if you fuse it with something.
Yeah, I would presume it would take a slot at that point, which is fine.
Okay.
I would
All right.
presume the fused companion still takes up its slot even while it's fused with my guy, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially that's what it would be. But yeah, if you want to do that, then yeah, you can. Like otherwise, like I fully have, I have fully embraced that I am essentially giving each of you guys an extra dude to fiddle around with for the rest of the campaign.
Oh yeah.
Admittedly,
It's also helpful in that
once
the
you
Soul
leave
Companion has
the
a
island,
major issue of not being
you will not
very
have
capable.
full control over them anymore. So like once you leave the island, it'll go to regular companion rules. So they won't essentially just be a second PC. But while you're on the island, that is the easiest way to do it, essentially.
That makes sense.
So
I'm
they'll
here
be
for that.
substantially less useful when you're not here, which is part of the balancing aspect of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have two
That was
questions.
my only question.
Yeah.
The first question is, can fusibles only be fused with other fusibles?
Yes.
Okay.
Typically speaking, there might be ways to work around that a little bit, such as like his soul companion, for example,
Yes.
is a special case, and there are I will say there is the possibility of finding compatible monsters or creatures on other islands or in other places that you might then be able to fuse. But it would not necessarily be terribly common.
Maybe you'll find one of the upgradables that's
Like-
just straight up armor to put on a different mon.
The second question was, if I have, let's say, two moddable ones, can they technically, like, in quotes, fuse together, like Voltron or some shit?
No, because well, unless it was two of the same moddable and you were essentially just making them into a bigger, stronger version.
Yeah, kind of what I was thinking.
But otherwise, and you guys will see once you start getting to select your starters. But there a lot of them are very substantially different and wouldn't really have interchangeable parts, I guess I would say.
Understood.
You find a series of 6 modables that become the arms, legs, body, and head.
So I can't get my own Megazord.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I'm not saying that. It's more that
Okay.
for something like a Megazord, you would be taking either a moddable and like building it up. Like you would need to probably be like level 8 or 9 at least to be strong enough to build something like the Megazord, but theoretically you could potentially build a moddable guy up to that level. You just wouldn't be doing it by smashing two of them together. It would be a
Understood.
like high level thing, and you would be investing a lot of resources into it over the course of the game.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
And you aren't so. I'll be asking each of you to pick one of the four categories from which you will get starter selections, but you are not beholden to then, I'm only a fusible trainer, I'm only a moddable trainer, like nothing like that. Like you can have mons of different types and then figure out which ones you like.
So we're not becoming gym leaders, got it.
Correct. Anything else? All right.
Hang on. Is it possible to get a type that is both types? For instance, an evolvable that evolves into a fusible.
Um, that was something that I hadn't entirely decided on, to be honest, because I was kind of playing with that idea, but I also have already had way too many quote unquote clever ideas for monsters and tokens, and I'm looking at like the fucking 40 that I've already done. And if I open more ways to fuse things together, I need to start getting even more creative on how those fusions work.
Well, you don't want to get exponential with your 40 creatures and turn
Yeah,
them into
so I think
1600.
I think I'm gonna say no. Each type is like there may be edge circumstances, like maybe, maybe you find an item that allows you to do it or something like that, but in general, in 99% of cases, something is only going to be one category. Even if they look like maybe they could be in a different one. And I have also been very intentional where every one of these tokens has a different color border to represent what kind of mon it is. And I will be doing that consistently while we're here so you guys can see at a glance. And you know what? I'm gonna add that into the thing.
All right. So which type has type advantage over No, I'm kidding.
That's not a thing. But each one will have essentially they're all going to pretty much right now start out as relatively low bricks of stats, and over time you will be able to get them stronger, they'll gain abilities, that sort of thing. For right now though, they're you have tackle and growl. They're not going to be doing anything fancy quite yet. Okay. So, if you guys are ready, I would like each of you to pick what category you would like to select your starters from, and I'm just gonna go down my list in Discord in alphabetical order. So, Core, fusible, evolvable, moddable, or growable. What would you like your starter selections from?
Feasible, of course.
Okay. Roll me 3d6 with no repeats.
3, 5, 6.
Okay. So for each of the other three, so here's the way this works for each one. So you guys will get to sort of see the process. So you will be given three potential choices for starters. For fusibles, what you are actually picking is a level 1 monster that is a fusion of two level zeros, and you will then be given the two things that fuse into it. For the others, you will just get whichever of the three that you pick. So your three fusible options are these guys. And you can choose which will be your starter, and then you will get the two things that would fuse into that. You can immediately refuse them back into this. You can fuse one of them with your tiger. You can wait and, encounter other stuff. It is up to you.
Sorry, I'm just.
You managed to get three little guys with weapons, which is actually really funny to me.
Oh my god.
Why do I recognize the third one, but I don't remember where it's from?
Good.
Yeah, sorry, can I get a zoom? Can you hit Z on the third one? I want to zoom in on this nerd.
Yeah, I'll just make it big. It's a skeleton with an axe.
Axe
This guy,
skeleton, chestnut with a spear, or
yeah,
night
he's an
slime
acorn, a
dragon.
little acorn with a spear, and then this is a fella riding a slime.
I think a fellow a fellow knight calls out to him the most.
Fellow knight,
Probably.
alright.
I knew you'd be taking one from that game.
I'm a big Dragon Quest fan. What can I say?
Alright.
Oh wait, no, I
So-
was talking about the skeleton. Sorry.
Alright, so you will be getting, as your two starters, these. You get a slime and an armor.
I see how you
Oh,
get
they were
card.
already fused. Didn't notice.
Yep, yeah, so you can either you can either choose to refuse them back into this guy or accept them as two separate starters.
For now, I'll accept them as the little guys they are. Maybe do some
All right.
mix and matching with the tiger.
All right. So I'm gonna copy these real quick over to the party screen. Actually, let's do this on the party screen. That'll be cleaner. So I can give you your little guys, and they
Oh yeah, I
should
got
be.
new art for Tone. Not nearly as interesting as Battle Cat, but I DM'd it to you.
Yeah, I did see that. I just haven't put it in yet.
No
Okay,
worries.
yeah, they should be about the same size as these guys. So I will give you control over both of them and turn on all of their visibility stuff, and then I will get to putting
Sweet
stat
little
stuff
guys.
in once everybody has their things. I will put stats and stuff in another handout. For now, though, you should have control of them. Go ahead and put in names if you want. And then next on our list is Evic. Which category would you like to choose from?
Moddable.
All right, give me 3d6 with no repeats.
2, 3,
2,
4.
3, 4. Nice. That's real easy. Okay, your choices are.
You fucking asshole. God damn it. Oh god.
I know all these.
So for your benefit,
Uh-huh.
so the way that you would mod each of these, this is a biomechanical mon, so you would be able to essentially put either machine parts or organic parts onto it. This little guy is essentially fully compatible with most anything. You just have to be able to modify it to make him work. Kind of like a Lego guy. You can
Yeah,
pop
give it a Lego peg.
Uh-huh.
And then this one uses more, typically more like actual conventional weapons and armor or pieces from other machines, to progressively augment itself, but will primarily be a like a close-up battler, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Now, for starters, I'm sorry, Andromon, but I'm not gonna pick you.
All right.
Now, here's my thinking here. I would choose the Surfbot only because I also have the arm cannon we just got from there.
Yeah, no, it's very funny to me that you rolled the Surfbot after I gave you guys Mega Man Legends as the opening dungeon.
However, I fucking love Metabots, so I'm gonna choose that one.
My man, let's go. All right. I will, as before, I'll give you control and turn on all of this stuff. Oh, that's right. I forgot to do an extra step on the other ones for core, so I'll need to go back and do that. And then, who's next? Kaz, you are next on my list. What category would you like to choose from?
Okay, hold on. I'll see what the categories are again.
Fuse, evolve, mod, or grow.
I'll do the grow-up one.
All right. Give me 3d6, please, and re-roll if you get any repeats.
Okay. Uh, 3d6.
Yeah. 2, 5, and 6. All right. Just. All right. Your choices are. Let me blow it up for you.
Is that an ant?
And what's the
Yes,
third
it is
one?
in fact an ant.
An ant.
It is an actual ant. Yes.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
for
Oh my
for your
God.
benefit, the Karibo will just grow with levels. The Yoshi, and it'll grow at fixed intervals, so it won't grow every level, but it'll gain. Actually, no, I think.
When it hits level 5,
Yeah,
it'll
no,
split
sorry.
into
The
5
Karibo is
branches.
one of the ones. So both the Karibo and the ant will grow and change a little bit every level. The Yoshi changes and grows based off of what you feed it.
When the Karibo hits level 5, it'll split into 5 separate Karibos.
Not
So
quite,
much
but different
Karibos.
colored Karibos might be part of how it changes.
But taking the ant is so funny.
Well, I'm gonna pick the Karibo.
All right.
Dang.
Yeah.
Nice.
None of these creatures are. This isn't Pokemon. These aren't, unique, and you will never find these creatures again. Like, you will very
You're
possibly
telling me
run
I'm
into
gonna
these
see
again in
ants
the
again?
wild. So if you want an ant, by golly, you will probably get a chance to get an ant.
If you want another ant, you gotta buy the season pass.
Yeah, you actually have to get the DLC for ants.
All right, and then Duck.
I think it is only right that I go with the one that no one's chose yet, evolved.
All right, then 3d6 me. God, I'm so curious what you get. Okay, reroll that 2. Oh, good. You rolled 2 of the ones I was hoping for already. Oh, I'm so happy.
Ah,
Reroll that.
Roll another 2. Oh.
yay.
Honestly, I don't actually think I could be happier about this.
This is gonna be
All
hard,
right.
isn't
4
it?
5.
Your options are
I really want to know what a rock. I really want to know what the pet rock evolves into.
You see,
Hello,
I
Agumon. Hello, pet rock. Hello, Cactuar.
can imagine what Agumon
As you
evolves
guys
into in the
can
Cactuar.
probably tell, I've had a lot of fun coming up with shit for this island.
I desperately want to know what a pet rock evolves into.
Are we all in the same place looking at what happens when, like, we choosing at the same time, or...
Yeah, you guys are together as a group, so.
The fucking character comes out and Gimli just, like, stares at it. It's just very cautious with it.
Is it a Minotaur, by the way?
Kind of hops between its feet and rotates its arms a couple times, just spins around once and otherwise just stares at you.
How
Is it
big
a
is this
regular
Cactuar?
sized cactar, or is it a mini cactar?
Oh no, it is about as tall as y'all.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
it'll all of these starter mons are small. They are about the same size as Emil and Gimli.
Okay. Not the most threatening.
Oh no. I'm too goddamn curious. I have to go with the rock.
It's the correct answer. You picked the rock, and Darian's like, I knew you were a good man. That rock, he's got potential. Look at those eyes. Look at that determination.
Emil doesn't know why, but he really feels drawn to the rock.
I can see
All
a
right.
fire in this one's soul.
Normally, I would take a
For the record,
Cactuar,
the rock was number 2, so it was the one that you double rolled on the first roll, which means this was just
Rock.
destined.
Oh,
Clearly.
that's amazing.
Clearly, this was always meant to be.
The rock was meant to be.
Oh
Who at the
god!
beginning
All
of the
right.
Out
end.
of, out of curiosity, what was 5?
5 was Agumon.
Ah, I see.
Okay. I do love the idea that all of us are walking out of here with these really interesting pets, except Emil, who walks out with a rock.
Yeah, email. I got a rock.
Out of curiosity,
It's my pet rock.
is it animate in any apparent way?
Yeah, it has eyes. It looks around.
Okay, the eyes
It's
look
just looking around. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, if
Okay, I wasn't sure.
It will kind of slowly hop after you to follow you.
Oh, good.
As well.
Beautiful.
I choose you, rock, throws it.
I'm gonna be lobbing rocks at people all day.
Everyone's favorite.
Yeah. So, go ahead and give them names and stuff. I am going to enter them in because, like I said, I literally made like 40 of these. I was not about to come up with stat spreads for every single option. So now that you guys have chosen, I'm going to give stat spreads to the ones that you have. So this may end up taking me a bit, but go ahead and, like I said, chat a bit, make some plans if you want to, name your guys. I am going to, so real quick, while we do this, you will be able to, on your smartwatch that you are given, you will be able to pull up maps of the island that will also label each of the zones for you. As such. So, where you start out, you are in a port on the north end of the growth grasslands.
I am
you can
sighing at the
travel
top
to-
right one. I actually know what that is.
Oh, I imagine most of you probably do. To the west is the Mod Metro. To the south is the Evolution Estuary. To the east is the Fusion Forest. And then at the far north of the Fusion Forest is the Peninsula of Power, which is a place where relatively like uncommon and usually high level mons tend to gather. It's a place that higher level adventurers often really like to go to, but is not typically recommended for newbies.
The Fusion Forest, that was? Sorry.
No, the Peninsula of Power,
Oh,
the
that thing.
on the
Okay, yeah,
far
yeah.
top right of the forest.
Flips through his grimoire like, the captain's information might not have been complete. She said 4 biomes, so it seems to be 5.
The
Like
peninsula
4.5.
isn't really a full biome. It's kind of just an area
Yeah, good old.
on the corner there.
Anyway,
But
let's see. Where to go? Where to go? What do you guys think? I mean, let's see. The ship docked here. Did they indicate how long they were planning to stay?
it takes them. She'll probably be docked for about a day just to rest a little bit, get some supplies, see if anyone else wants to book outgoing transit, and then hit up likely a couple of other places, and then head out.
Mm-hmm. That's, I mean, less time than I expected it to stay here.
I mean, it's travel will go relatively frequently. Like every couple of days or so, there should be a new ship coming somewhere.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's see. Well, I mean, if we're here anyway, we should probably look for info. Uh, Mod Metro, I mean, sounds like it might have the most metropolitan area. I don't know.
Are you looking for more fusibles?
I haven't been. This is I've been to a lot of different islands. I've never been to this one, so I'm actually down to explore any and all of it if possible. That way, I can fully capture its essence when I create a part of the guild that's like it.
Do we have information on the Peninsula of Power? Or rather,
yeah, there would be some info in your there would be some info on all of the areas in your watch.
Can we maybe get some more info about it? Just like in general, I guess. Kind of just like
Sure. The Peninsula of Power is uh, a chunk of land at the edge of the island on the other side of the Fusion Forest. It is not exclusively forested over. It's more of I guess you would say maybe more of like a Badlandsy kind of area or like a savanna. Um, it's not like densely populated. It's more of a place where a lot of uh, a lot of stronger creatures will go to test themselves or pick a fight or what have you. Um, Not a lot of things like live there long term, I guess, is maybe a good way to say it.
How what's the like starting town like? Like, is this like Pallet Town? Is it like there's like 3 buildings here and we gotta move out, or?
Yeah, so like I said, this isn't even really a town. There's like this big building that they use to greet new people and do like visitor services kind of things essentially. And there's like a relatively small shop that carries like your basic supplies and things like that. And
Okay.
there's some like a couple of apartment buildings for like small apartments for the folks who live and work here. And then there's like a small inn for, travelers and captains and things like that.
Okay.
That's because
Anywhere? Oh,
Go on.
oh, anywhere we could acquire a map of sorts, because want to figure out where this place's settlements are.
Um, Yeah, you could probably purchase a more detailed map from the shop if you wanted to.
I guess that's what I was
Or
going to ask. Is like, are there other settlements around like the area? Is like a major city in each area, or?
Um, kind of. So the mod metro is sort of a big city, but it's broken into a few different zones. Which kind of work a little bit differently. Like there's one chunk of the city that's kind of like very like high tech and advanced and kind of like almost cyberspacey. There's a big chunk of the city that's functionally abandoned and is mostly just overrun with like monsters that lay claim to it, and like bandits and other folks that want to live outside the law that live in that chunk. Otherwise, like the forest has some small, like some villages and towns within it, but not any like big cities. There are a couple of decently sized cities that are near the edge of the forest. And then there are a couple of port towns of like moderate size on the south end of the island, in the estuary area. And then otherwise, there's a handful of small villages kind of dotted around. Not large settlements, but ones that exist, which I can, once I'm done putting these stat blocks together, I'll put a few landmarks on the map, as it were, so you guys can have somewhere to travel to.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, because if if he's wanting to do this, we're gonna have to visit every area at least once.
I mean, not necessarily.
If he's wanting to get a feel
Well-
of how each place works and wants to combine it into one area, he's gonna have to.
Yeah, that is. I mean, it's the ideal circumstance, but I mean, he's more interested in recruits than that in this instant. So if the party is opposed to the idea, he's down to postpone it. But for now, yeah, looking around the different islands, talking to the different people about what their lives here are like, and ideally finding out info about where the city is right now. The city of Brest, that is. So with
Yeah.
regard to that, do we want to start in Mod Metro, or I
was
mean,
gonna
we
s-
have to move through the growth grasslands irrelevant, so might as well start there.
Yeah, I was considering Mod Metro as well. Possibly get some mods for Gimli's mod companion, and maybe also find out some more information, seeing as it is a major city.
Yeah. And I mean, how interested is everyone in the Peninsula of Power? Because it seems interesting. If we wanted, we could hit one of like these.
If it's probably the place we should go last if we decide to go there at all.
Yeah.
From the
Yeah,
sounds of it.
And you
We
guys
should-
are also, so this campaign is meant to be very sandboxy, very freeform. Over the course of it, you guys will be getting more resources. I eventually intend to, obviously let you have your own like ship and stuff. So you can always come back here. Like this is where we're starting, but that doesn't mean this has to be the only time we ever visit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do
We
think
could very scope it out.
Yeah. It does feel like somewhere that we'll definitely have to circle back to later. If not for any reason other than this doesn't seem like the place where we're going to get a ship to start with.
Yeah.
Do we want to head toward the nearest settlement in the growth grasslands, hunker down, talk to them about Mod Metro, head that way?
Sounds like a good idea, but we probably need a map first.
No, yeah, the GM is currently marking locations on the map, so I presumed.
Yeah. So the blue ones are gonna be your smaller, like things that are big enough to be considered a village. Like there are people that live there. They probably have at least like 1 or 2 stores and like an inn that travelers can stay in. These red ones are your like actual cities that have, a decent enough population and actual, shops and some amount of like industry or what have you. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I will just we'll freehand it, and I'm gonna try to just kind of, or yeah, pen. Let's do it. We'll see. So the river functions as what? Oh God, why is that? Wait, why did that make a thing inside? Do I need to? Okay. So the river functions as one border for the metro. The bit that is more or less lawless is kind of like that. And then we've got that's more or less how the different districts of the metro would break down on a map. Oh, and I just put all of these things on the token layer and not the map layer.
Oh no.
It's okay. I can fix it, and I just need to select everything and move the layer, and that's fine.
Do we have any information on the different districts in the mod metro?
Yes, I can do that. Is that everything appropriately? Yeah. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and go ahead to bring forward and I put a handout that has the base stat info for all of the mons that you guys currently have that should be visible. I will. Okay, actually, you know what? Just for logical consistency, I'm gonna make it so that the lawless zone is not number 1, because that feels maybe a little silly. Like, yeah, the first most notable part of our city is that we don't control part of it. That's probably not what they open with. Okay. Industrial district. Okay. And then show to everyone. Okay. That needs to be down here. There. Okay. So the 5 districts are the industrial district, the cyber district, the digital district, the factorial district, and the abandoned district. Or oh wait, sorry, that shouldn't be industrial. That should be commercial. Because factory is industry. I guess actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna make that stay as industrial. I'm gonna change factorial to industrial because I think industrial sounds better. And honestly, having the commercial district be large and easily available probably makes more sense. And then there would be, as I said, there would be probably at least a couple of smaller towns within the forest, but you wouldn't necessarily know where those are, unfortunately. because the forest is rather dense and it's not super well mapped. Largely because no one has really cared that much about it, to be perfectly honest.
All right. Let's
Um,
see. All right. Here. Probably. What do you think about hitting whatever this village is and then heading over to 3? Gang?
I have
Makes sense.
no disagreements.
Seems like a solid plan then. I hope you don't mind walking, because we don't have a method of transport across land currently. Though I guess if either of you, or I guess both of you, he says, looking at the two small creatures, if need a ride, Tone can accommodate.
and once you guys get large enough creatures, you will be able to use them as mounts as well. Just everything you
Yeah.
start with starts off kind of small.
The rock evolves into a car.
Maybe.
The rock evolves into the first wheel.
All right. So in that case, I'm just I'm looking at the journey procedures for how we want to do this. So you guys do have a map, and I believe Gimli has a compass, so you have navigational tools.
Sure.
So I don't believe that you guys, or sorry, email has a compass. Sorry, it'll take me a little bit to remember your guys' names. You both have very little guy names, and you're both little guys, so
Yeah, Email and
I'm
Gambler,
going
the
to
little
mix it up
guys.
a bit, probably. um, one of you has a compass, and you guys have a map, and you're traveling on the grasslands, which are pretty easy to navigate anyway. So I don't believe that there is a chance of getting lost. I will say it'll take slightly longer than the rest of the day to get there. So by the time you're done with all of your deboarding from the ship, getting there, deboarding it, going through all of the process of getting set up and checking out the map and figuring out where to go, it's like 3 o'clock ish. And it would take on foot roughly 12 hours to walk to that city. So you can you can decide that you want to travel part of the way and then camp, or you can attempt to rush it to get there in one day, but then I believe you have to deal with some amount of exhaustion the next day.
I'm good with going 6 hours rest, 6 hours. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in exhaust ourselves yet.
All right. Then as you guys are traveling along the map, are you going to appoint a scout? And if so, who will it be?
Not it.
The scout will be the role of the scout is basically they are looking ahead of people and they will get a chance to make a deftness check or potentially a stealth roll to notice a potential encounter before it happens and warn the party to prepare.
Well, Gemini was our scout in the first dungeon. How would you feel about scouting for us again?
Yep.
No, that seems like a good plan.
I saw that coming.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Is it could be Gimli or Emil, because Emil has better insight, which is generally the perceptive stat. But
Yeah,
Gimli has a better
so-
chance to stealth into a fight. So
The deftness is what applies for stealth and scouting, though. So it's one
scouting
of those.
is just raw stealth. Interesting. Or raw deft. Interesting.
Yeah, it says it
Yeah, I
says
mean,
it
like, Gimli's
requires
not
a
opposed
stealth
to it.
roll. Your scout makes a deftness check to avoid detection by the encounter. So, I would
Interesting.
say
Right, there's like a different
insight
one
is
for being
probably
able to
used
look
for
over
gaining
enemies.
information about them, but the initial I don't want to get spotted is deftness.
Yeah.
Also, to be honest, there is probably a fair bit of tactical sense in your scout also being the guy who can't be a combatant until he throws the first shot.
Yeah, yeah. Also,
But, like,
observer
even if
is
they
probably
see
what we
him,
want our
they're
insight
like
guy at.
they're contractually obligated not to attack him, essentially.
Yeah, they think he's chill.
Yeah, pretty much. But oh,
Anyway,
a Moogle with a bag. I wonder if I can catch one of those.
like, no, you cannot.
Points a gun at them.
Like, oh, dang,
Oh
it's a
God,
moddable.
that's so cute.
It's got,
Somebody
dang, that's a
found a
moddable. It's got
Moogle
a
and a gun
backpack
and
and a
fused
gun
them
already? Might
together.
be a little too high level.
Oh,
You
all
just,
right.
you just hear him say,
So,
"Try it, I fucking dare you."
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I think
so go
him
ahead
as our
then,
scout.
and I need someone to give me a D20 for your adventuring day.
Just a flat D20.
Mm-hmm. Just to
got
see
you.
what happens first.
Nope, definitely do it.
Okay.
Silently rolls 9.
Okay. With a 9, nothing untoward is going to happen during the first leg of your trip, up until the point where you guys make camp. You see some critters and stuff in the distance, but none that get close enough to directly engage you, and nobody who is like hostile or anything like that. So it ends up just more or less being a pleasant stroll across the plains where you guys get to chat and get to know each other a little bit better and sort of build familiarity with your starter mons. And then you said you were going about 6 hours, so it'll be 9-ish roughly, by the time that you guys decide to make camp. And then I will need to, let's see. Okay. So are you guys do you already have like food and stuff? Do they give you things like basic adventuring gear as part of your starter kit? I'm assuming that you
They
guys
do not.
have. I'm making the assumption that you guys have like tents and bedrolls and at least some amount of rations to start out.
Sweet.
Um, but does anyone want to try and go like hunting or foraging or anything like that? Do you want to do anything while camped? I'm assuming that Gembly is probably going to tinker on some of the armor and do some crafting in the downtime. But does anybody else want to do anything? And are you going to put up a scout overnight or anything like that?
I think I'm always down to go looking for more food.
All right. Would you like to go hunting or foraging?
I think foraging, probably.
All right.
Considering this
Is
island
there a-
probably just has Mons on it, I would assume
Yeah.
that's probably the better option.
Yeah. Gotta, take the time, observe the nightlife, maybe see what the plants and food is like. Not trying to kill and eat any freaking Psyducks or whatever.
All right. Is anyone else going along with him?
I probably have to stay at camp to freaking work on this armor that they're asking me to do.
Yeah, probably.
So sorry, what is your Durian doing?
He's
going
gonna
out foraging.
go out foraging, looking for some food and like securing the area around the campsite.
Oh, yeah, I can go with him. To kill things.
All
Ideally,
right.
we're not going to be killing anything.
I mean, he can go hunting while you go foraging. That is up to him.
Well,
fair, he
just
could do.
if you need me to, I'll be by your side.
He gives you a thumbs up.
But yeah, Mama's not going to be thrilled.
All right.
Can't
And
kill
then
anything.
is Emil gonna do anything?
Emil is just going to stare into directly at the rock's eyes.
Make some very intense eye contact.
Okay,
Get
so
to
you
understand
are
it.
so in that case we're going to say you are socializing with your companion.
Yes.
If
There's also
you're
the train a
if you're
companion
doing
action, isn't
that.
there?
Hey, do
Yes,
these
but that doesn't really apply while you're on the island. While you're on the island, they are essentially treated as though they are fully trained.
Heard.
do these Monmons, do they speak English or no? Like,
Some of them are capable of communication. Let me double check. I don't think any of the ones that you guys have right now would be.
Really, the
Yeah,
fucking
Karibo
the
makes adorable squeaking noises. Neither the floating armor nor the lump of goo can talk. The rock can't talk. The robot theoretically can. It does not yet possess the capability. It
I have to
can be
fucking
modified to have the ability to
I have to
speak.
program it into him.
Yeah, I mean, basically, like either that or like I don't know, swap out a head that already has the has it taken care of or something. I don't know.
So I can't have him be throwing out his catchphrase every 5 seconds.
Not yet. I mean, if instead of making armor for one of the two of them, you want to instead do that, you could use use a box of parts.
I promised I would have them do this for them. I would like him to watch me as I am doing it, so that if maybe later he could help me out in some way.
Okay. So then, yeah. So Emo will be getting to know his rock and also working with you a little bit. All right, and then I'm gonna move Tone here so that I can
Also,
put your tiger in.
while staring at the rock, I'm just going to pull like rations out of my coat and then start eating them.
Hell yeah.
Does the rock need any rations?
By the way, I have the quirk called Always Prepared, which means that I can just have things so long as it's like below the monetary value of 45.
Hell yeah.
So I'm just going to use it to just have rations.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Let me. Sorry, what page was that? 276. Okay. All right. So you are socializing with your rock. Okay. All right. This is a weird question, but hear me out. Are you socializing with your rock, or is your rock socializing with you?
Yes.
So the reason I'm asking is because what it says here for socializing is that you attempt to temporarily increase your hearts by connecting with someone special. Are you trying to give the rock an extra heart temporarily, or are you trying to get one for yourself? Who are we bolstering here?
Me.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Uh, then then we need to make an aura versus grit check.
Sorry, the rock's aura or his aura?
Let me check. I
'Cause
think
it's
his aura and the rock's grit is what we're gonna do.
dang. I feel like grit's got to be like the one stat that rock is good at.
That's correct. Well, okay, hold on. Let me. You choose which participant uses which aptitude. Actually, okay. All right. So here's the thing. Here's the thing with it is that it. I don't think that it's an opposed check. It's each of you needs to succeed.
I
So
mean,
it's better for him if the rock uses grit because his stats are the same, but the rock has 8 grit and 2 aura.
I think it is an opposed check because it seems like the way that it works is it is your aura against their grit because it's you persuading them against their like innate stubbornness.
The rock has
In the
more
same way that
found
like
enough.
that's what training checks are too, where like despite it being at a companion who theoretically wants to be trained, it is an aura versus their grit.
Hmm. Yeah, see, that's weird to me. See, I would have thought it was one of those where you want them both to succeed, but I get what you mean. Um, I mean, I will say I don't think the rock particularly has a lot of aura, but it is very gritty. So I am still gonna think that I do still think that's probably the right call, is to
Oh, yeah.
have you do aura and the rock do grit.
Okay.
Oh, well, I was gonna say vice versa if the point is beating the rock, but I don't know.
Right, no, I'm talking about like logically as for who would be rolling which one. I think
Oh, yeah.
it
No,
makes
that
more
absolutely makes
logical sense because he's trying to like get to
Schmooze
know
the
the
rock.
rock, and the rock
Yeah.
is a literal rock. It's
It's got
not putting
eyes.
a lot of effort into wooing him.
It
He's
has
trying
eyes.
to convince the rock to give a shit.
All right.
So the rock does succeed on its grit check,
Oh.
and you do not succeed on your aura check. So you have fun, you get to know the rock a little bit more. You feel a kindredship. You love the way its eyes google around. It's very silly.
But he's
But
holding out on you.
yeah, but you can tell that he's not fully warmed up to you yet.
This
Um,
rock has secrets, dude.
Soon.
he stays a little bit further away than arm's length for the time being.
Emil
Don't
draws
pick
a
up your
picture
rock.
of the
What's it
rock in
doing
his
further
notebook.
than arm's length away?
It is Big Grimoire.
All right, and then
Putting
for
down pictures
your
of rocks in your
crafting
grimoire.
check,
I have a picture of a rock now.
yeah, okay. Um,
Sorry, the idea of we get back and there's a hyper realistic like still life of this rock.
um, go ahead and make an appropriate crafting roll. I think. Let me double check your thing. I mean, you are using old tech for this, so I think I'm still gonna give you the major bonus. I think I'm still gonna give you the +4. Oh wait, that's a critical success because your deafness is 11.
Sure is.
So I'm gonna say you are
Ugh.
actually able to. It was a lot easier than you thought because it was essentially already a heavily armored robot that you guys beat up anyway, and you were able to complete both sets of armor in one night actually, rather than needing 2 days. It will still consume both of your remaining units of salvage, but you get it all done a lot more quickly than you expected to.
So they come back and I throw both the armors in their faces. Like, all right, I'm done.
Right. And then for our foragers, sorry, I'm trying to. It's in a different chunk of the book, so now I need to go back there. Okay. Foraging requires an insight check. If more than one person goes out, the one with the highest aptitude rolls it and gets a minor bonus. So, whichever of you guys has higher insight, roll that, and you have a +2 bonus on it.
They have the same.
Well, then, which of you is going to be our main forager?
Sorry, it's a what check?
It is an insight check. And it'll be with a +2, and then apparently both of you guys have the same, so it's it's mostly for flavor at this point. Who gets the blame slash
let me see
credit?
if 1 second. Does this fall under any of my purviews?
Oh, that's a good point. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna look.
I don't know.
Persevering when you ought to is a maybe, but I don't really think it falls into mine.
Maybe I'll be the
if we
front
take
guy.
sorting the good soil from the bad literally, then you could potentially identify places where good herbs are more likely to grow. But I believe
fair.
we've been taking that more of a metaphorical, like
Yeah.
it's more like vibes of people and not
Yeah.
actual.
I mean, creatures too, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, could
So
I?
Yeah.
I think it would just be it would just be either of you with a +2. So whoever wants it. So I don't think any of
Before you
either of
roll,
your
just
purviews is applicable.
insight.
Oh, you just turned into a full robot.
Robot core is back.
Yeah, very bad.
Cause now became a
Anyone tell
mobile.
me?
You just started. Like we told you as soon as it started.
Oh, I thought you meant that it's been happening this whole session.
No, it just happened.
Okay. No, I'll just
Oh,
yeah.
it sounds fine now.
Yeah, I don't know. It does. It be like that sometimes. Anyway, I guess I'll make a deafness check.
Insight check.
Or not deafness. What am I?
Deafness
What's the
is
word?
for hunting. Insight is for foraging.
Insight. Nice.
All right. You are able to find 4 rations, so basically enough for everyone to eat tonight. Not counting Tone, but he
He doesn't. He's not
considering
real.
Emo already had his own food, that probably doesn't really matter. And the
I don't
native
think
creatures
Tone
on this
needs to.
island are able to just sort of graze because they are from this island, so they just automatically are able to graze.
Yes.
Does my robot
Graze
even
my rock.
need to
Graze.
yeah, like the
I don't think
inanimate
Tone needs to
objects in
eat.
quotes really need to eat anything?
Well, I mean the rock definitely eats like dirt. The robot
Yeah, you sit him on a
probably
patch of
doesn't
grass,
need
and
to
it's like
get- the
ever so
robot
slightly.
just needs to charge its cells.
It soaks the soil
The-
into itself like a plant.
The goo, the armor, and the Karibo all probably eat something.
I don't know about the armor, but the goo probably. Yeah.
The armor's a filter feeder. You just can't tell.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just constantly like filtering microscopic things out of the air to eat.
It'd be like that. Anyway, I don't think Tone needs to eat. It doesn't clearly indicate one way or the other, but given the fact that if he dies, he vanishes and then reappears the next day, I assume he's not real like that.
No, fair enough. All right, and then
Either
so
that or he's out
that's our-
hunting mice.
That's our camping. Are you guys gonna post a or multiple watches overnight?
Nah. I mean, if someone else suggests it, I'm totally down to do it.
Look, my rock can absolutely stay as watch. It can't tell us about it, but it can absolutely watch.
Okay, is the Rock going to keep watch then? Is that the plan?
That's fun.
The Rock is absolutely not doing a watch alone.
I sure hope he's not.
Or does that mean that Gembly is also going to take watch?
I am not letting him just make the Rock do a watch on his own.
Whatever
I'll
not.
watch with the rock if you want.
Also, I'll oh wait, shoot, no, that's the wrong one. Don't look at that. That was the wrong page. You saw nothing. You saw
I'll cut it
nothing.
out. I'll cut
You're
it
not
out,
incorrect.
don't
I
worry.
didn't see anything.
Good. I definitely didn't drag you guys to the wrong page.
Anyway, it would appear that the insight of literally all of our pets is 2 except for Gimbli's, so I don't think any of them are great for this.
Yeah, you guys don't have the most intelligent of critters to start for the most part.
That's okay.
I say the rock and the slime should absolutely keep watching.
What in the?
Them and their googly eyes just facing opposite directions.
It's really intimidating.
Yeah, no, it doesn't cross Darian's mind that that anyone could possibly ever be dishonorable and attack someone in the middle of the night, so he doesn't set a watch unless someone suggests it.
It sounds like Gembly is intending to keep watch for at least part of the night, along with Mr. Crag. Is that how much of the night? Because obviously, if you stay up for the whole night, you're going to be tired. So, how much of it are you planning to stay up for, Gembly?
what time are we planning to get at people? That's the question.
I imagine the standard 8-ish hours of rest. So it's 9 o'clock. I imagine it took us maybe an hour to set up camp, so around 6 or 7 a.m.
Yeah.
I will take 4, and then after the 4, I'm gonna wake up Emil and it's like, hey, your rock is watching, but I'm making you watch for the other 4. Get up.
Throw the rock at him.
Hey, all right, okay, fine.
Throws the rock at him. He said he wants you to hang out with him.
All right. So then overnight, I need an insight check with a minor bonus from Gembly and a regular insight check from Mr. Cragg. Also, one last thing I should ask about is because you do have multiple fusible things, do you want to do any sort of a fusion right now, Core? Do you want to add your tiger with some slime or some armor, or mash those two back together in any way?
Armor tone.
I'm a little curious what Tone will look like, or what the deal will be with Tone and one of the others. Sorry, just before I do this, do any of them have abilities besides their stats as current?
Not currently, no.
Okay. And then for speeds, is it the average speed of both creatures, or the higher, or?
I will be giving you a new stat block when you make a fusion. I will be giving you a new token and creature and stat block for it.
Okay. I think putting my cat in the ghost armor is the logical choice, so I will not do that. And instead,
Okay, you're gonna get a goop cat.
mhm.
All right, so I will have I will have a token ready for that before next time. Then, if you had fused him with the armor, I was just going to give you back Battle Cat. But okay, so we'll do that, and I'll get you a new token. We are about to wrap up here, though. So I need insight from Mr. Cragg and insight with a minor bonus from Gembly.
Wait. Nope. Never mind. I thought that was it. That's not it.
Nice.
Okay. Mr. Cragg does not notice, unfortunately, because he happens to be looking the other direction, and he doesn't. He has a somewhat limited field of vision at any given time. He, mostly looks forward. Doesn't really have a very pivotable head to look around much else. So he doesn't see it, but Gembly does notice ahead of time and is able to wake folks up, because it seems that there are some creatures that are encroaching on your camp and probably have hostile intentions. So you will need to get up and prepare to repel them using your mons. And that'll be what we will start with in a couple weeks, is our first combat encounter with your all's mons.
Is everybody still asleep? Is my first question.
So you will be getting everybody up. Like, you have enough time to get everybody up and be like, hey, there's some stuff coming in. I think they're probably gonna attack us.
I just shoot my gun in the air to wake them up.
Fair.
All right.
All right. Yeah, you guys wake up with a gunshot.
Hey, I'm not shooting at the things. I'm just shooting into the sky.
True. Yeah, I mean that'll certainly wake everyone up. I get important question.
Not straight
I
up.
assume you're firing like one of your like pistols that you had.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was gonna say the arm cannon doesn't actually make a lot of noise when it fires.
I figured.
All right, yeah. So you guys all wake up to gunshots. You see some shapes emerging from the shadows around your camp, and you get your mons and you get ready, and we will next time I'll start us out on a battlefield, and we'll do our fight. But that is we are past 9 o'clock, so we are past our normal stopping time. So I'm gonna say that's where we'll end it for the day.